Looking forward to being in front of our fans at US Bank. I'm going to always encourage them to be as loud as they can possibly be when the defense is on the field and really bring a home field advantage. So looking forward to Sunday, and we got a good challenge here with Tampa coming in. So take any questions you have.
Last year, Kirk, you guys played a great game in the opener at home with a new coaching staff. What do you remember about that, and do you take anything from that? Was there anything that happened that you guys really exploded on both sides like that?
It was a fast start. It was a very clean game, and it surprised me a little bit, being that we hadn't played in the preseason and it was a new staff, and so it was a great way to start the season. And we set a high bar. We gotta try to match that again on Sunday.
Kirk, you talked a lot about just the level of comfort in the offense year 2 under Kevin. Where do you think that'll show up most on game day?
I don't think it'll show up in any specific area or in any specific way more than another. I think that in just about every phase of quarterbacking, you're going to feel more comfortable. It could be something as simple as between series conversing with Nick Mullins. And we're just a year better at having that time on task together. Adjustments on the sideline with Chris O'Hara, I think it becomes just the time we've now had together over the last year, I think really helps. And then play in and play out, just being able to execute at a high level, avoiding penalties, managing the game, making good decisions, staying on the field. I hesitate to ever be so optimistic that you start to let your guard down and you say, oh, it'll just work out. So on one hand, you say, hey, I expect it to be better in year 2, but that doesn't mean I go in there now with any kind of false optimism that isn't backed up by actually playing better, and that's kind of what I focus on, is not getting too comfortable.
Kirk, I know you're just starting to game plan, but last year their pass defense was pretty good.
Yeah.
What do you see that being this year?
Well, I just see a really good defense. I mean, when you watch the tape, we played them in 2020 and had a lot of respect for them then. They were the number 1 run defense at the time we played them, and you just have fast players. They got a great rush. It's a great scheme with Coach Bowles. They were a playoff team and division champs last year for a reason, and they just got a lot of great players in their defense, and so we expect them to really test us, and we've got to be at our absolute best.
What tells you Jordan Mattison is ready for this?
What tells me he's ready? Well, he's just been a capable player all of training camp. He continues to make athletic plays and show that he's just a natural receiver in the way he runs routes and the way he catches the football. So I'm excited to get him out there in the real deal and get him involved, and excited to see him become a part of our offense and another weapon to use in addition to so many other great players.
You mentioned about the fast start last year. Something you guys were doing with scoring early in the games. How does that help kind of set the tone, especially early in the season? With an offense that's been out there playing in the season?
I think it's a great way to start any game when you can get out fast, and your week of preparation sort of gets validated when you go out there and you start fast, and yet it's such a long game after that. I think of the playoff game last year, we went right down the field and scored, and yet we were walking off the field after 4 quarters with a loss. So you certainly want to start fast, but you also have to finish strong, and if you have to pick one or the other, you're going to always want to finish with a win and finish strong. So but it definitely allows everybody to exhale a little bit, feeling like you're ready to go, and you came ready to go, and hopefully we can start fast on Sunday.
Kirk, now that you're sort of in regular season mode here, to what extent are you thinking about or compartmentalizing, the fact that every week, whatever happens could potentially impact what happens to you in March?
Well, I think that's been my whole life in this league, and I view that in training camp too. Like when I go out there, I view it as like I'm only as good as my last pass, my last practice. So it's sort of been life for me, and I would even go back to college, like in quarterback competitions with Nick Foles, and you basically felt like you're going out there every day and putting your job on the line, and that's quarterbacking. So I've been doing it for 16 years. This will be my 17th. I think when I was at Holland Christian, my job was pretty safe, so I didn't really feel that. I would go out there and I'm like, I could have a bad practice today. It really isn't going to affect much of anything. But for the last 16 years, this being my 17th, that's kind of the life you live. And I think when you take that seriously, it lends itself to, having success more days than not. So I've also believed, going back to when I was being recruited in high school, I was asked a similar question. It's your senior year. Every pass could be a referendum on whether or not you're going to get a college scholarship. would say if we win football games, everything else will take care of itself. So let's just focus on doing what we need to do to win. And there really won't be much else to think or be concerned about if we're winning football games.
At this point in your career, do you think you should be playing for your job?
I don't think it's mine to say. I will say, I remember when a quarterback was drafted high in New England and Tom was the starter, and Tom made the point, there is no entitlement in the NFL. And if there is entitlement in the NFL, that organization is probably doing it wrong. So I think it's healthy when players need to go out every day and nobody's entitled to anything. I think that's a healthy way to run an organization. So it's going to bring out the best in all of us. And if it ever isn't that way here, I would be the first one to complain and say, hey, I sense some entitlement, so let's change that.
Kirk, the older you get, handling that stress and that pressure, does it get easier or does it get harder? It's
a good question. I wouldn't say it gets harder. I think that it's very important for me to just stay in the present, embrace the process, and enjoy fighting to win even more than just chasing the win. And kind of enjoy the challenge. And when you enjoy the challenge, then through the ups and downs that are inevitable of an NFL season or of an NFL career, you're able to sort of enjoy every day, cherish every day, and get better every day. So my perspective will be to just enjoy the fight, enjoy the challenge that it is every week. And I think I'm wired in a way to be able to do that. So that's just what I want to lean into.
Is there no more Mustache Monday? It's clean up a little bit.
Well, thanks for the opportunity to again engage with Mustache Monday. What I marvel at is Austin Schlottman, Ezra Cleveland, and Blake Brandel have not shaved their mustaches. So I'm not sure how far this is going to go. It might be a whole season thing, but those three guys are continuing with it, which makes me proud that we had Mustache Monday. And we got about 350 days till the next one.
Kirk, you said 16 or 17 years in. I imagine it's still gets old. Week one,
right?
Running out the ball.
That
doesn't ever get old, does it?
No, that definitely is and even going back to high school. That first game is just different because it's been so long since you were actually in an environment with that much juice and going full speed and live bullets and no red jersey. And so I think the fans feel that too, and there's that extra energy as well. And so. Remember last year, just the way we started, the way our defense played, our fans were in it the whole game, and we've got to create a similar environment this Sunday. But remember when I was a rookie, Rex Grossman made the comment that, there's certain games that are different. Playoffs, maybe playing on a holiday like Thanksgiving, and then week one, kickoff weekend, he said always is treated very much like the other biggest games you'll play in. And this is from a guy who had played in the Super Bowl, so he made it clear my first year that week one's just a different animal.
Kirk, at this point in your career, how often do you see a coordinator throw something at you, a coverage or whatever, and you say, man, I haven't seen that before?
Yeah, I think it's happening in this league every year where defenses evolve. And everybody can go back at the end of the season and watch all 31 other teams and say, what do teams do well? What were teams struggling with? And it's very rare that a defense just stays the same for year after year after year. And so I think it is very common for a defense to say, hey, we're going to add this wrinkle, and we're going to try to create some confusion here in this or that way. So I was reading a book that Coach Mott had given me over this long weekend break last weekend, and it was about a Navy SEAL, and he made the comment that in a rule in battle is no plan lasts past first contact with the enemy. And I thought that was pretty good, that we all have our plans, but no plan really lasts after your first contact with the enemy. Something's going to happen that you're going to say, okay, how do we course correct now? And in week one, you sort of are ready to live that a little bit, and we've got to be good with sideline adjustments, with not allowing something that surprises us to cause them to win the game over it, to be able to say, okay, you got me there, but it's not going to turn into something more. So that's part of playing football, is those unscouted looks and being able to react appropriately.
A positive mindset going into the season. There's a whole lot of moving pieces with jobs and whatnot, and I don't get into the specifics of those things. I know that, personally for me, is to make plays wherever I get put at, and go with a W.
Do you have a good grasp of the defense? Have you been around it long enough to know conceptually what they're trying to do, even with a new defense coordinator?
I have a good thought of, I know the defense. But again, like I'm saying, like people want to hear, oh, are you starting? Are you this? I don't get into the specifics of those.
It's just about playing hard every day.
Yes, that's it. That's it.
And let them decide.
That's it.
How much is Sunday another step? It started in London and you're just taking one small step forward and forward. How much is Sunday being back, live action, game one, not preseason, not training camp, it's live fire. How much is that another step in your road back?
This is a big step for me, not being in a whole season, from last year. I'm only looking at this game like, all right, let's warm back up to where I was from last year. It was right when I was about to, get play time, that kind of happened. So it's now, prep my mind right to, just go.
Mentally, so how is that? Last year, you're like, okay, I'm a rookie, right? And then you had the injury, then you had to come back. So now that you're healthy, you're getting ready to start. Is it an easier preparation or not?
It is an easier preparation because I kind of know what to look forward to, what to do. Last year, I was a rookie just trying to figure out, it's like, all right, this is game week. What the hell do we do? How do I prepare for that? But now I got a good idea of learning from Harry, from a whole lot of the vets, of, preparation and the things to do to get ready for game week.
Do you know the story behind the Falcon right there?
He's an interesting individual. I have no idea what's the story behind that. He just calls it his, I don't know, like, I asked him, I was like, Harry, what's the deal with he's like, man, it's just the hawk, And then he has the helmet he puts on the hawk, which is right there, which is interesting. So, yeah.
Well, the hawk is from Andrew Sandejo, who used to be here, so it's kind of been gifted down, and he was interesting, too.
I didn't know that, but I'm happy you know the background story behind that. Yeah.
Thank you.
You just experienced in the past. Yeah, I've heard from, I've never got to play in it, but I've heard about it, and I'm excited.
The skull chant.
Yeah, yeah, I've heard all about that.
How much 12 do you think they'll line up in this year in the offense with you in there? I mean, do you think you'll be out there a lot in that situation?
Yeah, I mean, that's a question that Coach Casey could answer, but KLC could answer, but I'm not sure at this point.
You just want to make sure when you get out there that you do your job, do your role.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna give it my all every time I step on the field.
A lot of the players are like, it's about time, right? Let's just get this thing rolling. Do you do anything? Are you planning to do anything special before game one, or are you just going in blinders on? What's your preparation like?
Yeah, I'll just keep my routine. This is year 5 for me, so go out there and keep my routine and go play my hardest.
I know that I asked Kirk earlier, like mentally, does it get harder as you get older or easier? Not only the first game, but just like the pressure of everything.
Yeah, I think as time goes, everything starts to slow down. But every year it creates a different challenge. So,
thank you.
It's hard. At first, you might want to hit it downhill. You might want to just see the hole, go get it. But you'll start to feel in the game how some blocks are setting up, how some players are playing, how the linebackers are flowing, and all that. And you get a rhythm, and then you understand. Next time we get this play called, I'm going to have to tempo it a little bit more, or next time we get this play called, I'm going to have to hit it faster because it's closing. So once you're able to get those carries under your belt, that's when you can really find that balance.
What's it like to get that chance to be the guy in the backfield now after everything that transpired in the offseason?
It feels good. I'm blessed to be in this position, blessed to, have ownership and leadership that believe in me. I'm blessed to have teammates that believe in me, and I'm just excited for the opportunity ahead of me.
I don't know if you touched on this, but, every defense is difficult in this league. But when you face one right out of the gate that's known for a staunch run defense, they were limiting the pass really well last year, too. How does that kind of get you extra more, kind of like I want to prove myself?
Not really. I try not to think too much into it. Nothing but respect for the guys on the other side of the ball, but I don't like to give people too much, star power or anything like that. I just know that what we have up front, the system that we have, the guys that we have, as long as we go out there and execute, then we're more than capable of beating anyone that's on the other side of the ball. So that's kind of the mindset, is just trying to go out there and be as close to 100% efficient and executing our plays as possible.
Kirk was talking about the importance of the first game. It's right up there, with sometimes Sunday Night Football, holiday games. When do you know, okay, is it after your first offensive snap? Is it after a certain time, or is it after one play for you? When you're like, you can exhale.
Yeah, probably after that first play. You get that first play, maybe that first carry, because you never know if it's going to be the first play of the game. But you touch the ball for the first time, or you block someone for the first time, whatever it might be. You get a taste of the action for the first time. Then that's kind of when everything settles in and you're in it. But until then, it's the anticipation is just building up.
Thank you.
Finally, all the work, more playbook, 2 more meetings. It's time to go hit somebody.
Yeah, it's what it's all about, right? It's what you work all off season for, all training camp. This is what it comes down to.
When do you say, all right, let's go? Is it after that first contact for you, or is it after the kick? When do you dial in?
Yeah, it's usually the first contact. You're looking for that hit. You're looking for that one pop. That can really center you back into the game. And so, yeah, I mean, it's been a while since truly tackled somebody, right? And so that's year in and year out. That's what you're ready to go do week 1, right?
With that said, do you feel like your defense as a whole has something to prove, since it's kind of like the great unveiling under B-Flow's new regime, shall we say?
Yeah, it's more for us, right? It's more about proving to ourselves, what we want our identity to be, and really just put on film, for the first time, the standard that we're trying to hold. So obviously it's week 1 of a long season in a first-time defense, right? So there's going to be things out there, but it's a process. We understand that, but we've got high expectations.
How is your mindset different headed into this season with a new defense rather than last season?
It's tough, right? Because you really don't. You never know, right? You never know what it's really going to look like. You're hoping and you're putting the work in, and you got to trust that, but. It's very, obviously the schemes are different, but I've been in new defenses multiple times in my career, and every time you go out there for the first time in a new defense with new guys on the field, it's exciting, but it's also there's this energy of what if, or what are we gonna what's it gonna look like? So again, you get those jitters out early, and then you just settle in and you just go. It's fun.
Is there one of the young guys you're excited to go see turn loose? A guy that you're excited to see? I've had fun watching this guy grow so far the last couple of months. Let's do this.
Yeah, I mean,
last one, then we got to close up.
I can look in the linebacker room between BA and Ivan. Right, both of them are, have showed, why they're going to be on the field, and it's exciting to watch 2 young guys perform at high level, and I'm excited to watch them play.